tell you a quick funny story. My friend Robert Cuckoo Clock, you know, he religiously goes to his car boots, and he'd seen this book Goldwing, and he said, oh, I'll pick these up for Reggie. He paid a tenner for the three of them. So he's charged me, I'll let you guess if he's charged me more or less, but anyway. No, fair play. He paid a tenner for them, he's charged me a tenner for them. So, the Goldwing, Reggie bought you the book. Anyway, what came along with it was this book. And, you know, you know, what's going to happen when all the books die? It all goes on computers and you can't flick through. There's something amazing about flicking through books and looking at the pictures. I do love looking at pictures and histories and looking at old bikes. Look, the old original Fireblade. Wow, they're getting rarer and rarer. You can't get hold of them, look. The Bandits, as they began, the Bandits, look. Wow. Yeah, and there's each one of them, you remember the bikes that you had. Remember the bikes that your mates had. You remember knocking around with them. It's amazing, absolutely amazing. And we're flicking through. I'm sure there's plenty of models here that you've seen or your mates had, and the Gitana. Look, they've remade the Gitana. This is the original Gitana. I don't really know how old this book is. And we saw that, didn't we? What else did we see in here that sort of tickled our memory? Oh yeah, the Super Dream, the 250N. You don't see the 250s, do you? The original with them, like the peanut tank, the round tank. I don't see many of the Dream, the actual Dreams. And look, the Kawasaki, the 250 sets. Wow, the XSs, you don't see them disappear. You to go to a classic show or something like that. And there was something I was going to show you here. Old CD175. Wow, they made their own sound. There was nothing. There was the 200, CB200, and then there was the 175s. How many of them did we buy for 30 quid, 40 quid, 50 quid and knock around in them? Yeah. Wow, bulletproof, absolute bulletproof. And the 404s, they used to be a big bike. You thought they were a big bike, but blimey, you look at a 404, you go to D&K in Stoke and you look at a 404 and blimey, they're tiny now, aren't they? That, I remember Emmeline having a 404, and I hadn't before stuck my hand out to catch the end of a lamppost to see what it was like when we were going by. And anyway, because, you know, if you see someone doing the laces or something, you put your hand out and give them a slap, all that sort of thing. Anyway, I did it and it missed my hand and got my wrist and nearly took him off. We had a big wobble in. What the hell's going on, Reggie? What's going on? Well, I hadn't sort of stuck my hand out and wanted to rub my against the post. Yeah. Remember the 404, eh? Look at this, the Fizzy, the FS1E. Look's got the pedals. It's the first ones that came out. Wow. And look at the RD, the RD 250. This is the later. This is the, I had spoked wheels and I had drums on the back. And this is what's brought me to this point now. Let's go and have a look at an old picture. The old RD 250, spoked wheels, drums on the back. I must be going to court. The only reason I would wear a suit is I must have been going to court or something. And there it is. I'm taking the wheels off for whatever reason, on blocks. Yeah, what's that? A Helmet Hunter Volkswagen of some sort. Yeah, so that was a bit ago anyway. Yeah, I put spotlights even on it then. Yeah, I've always liked spotlights. And of course that's a 250 as well, isn't it? Anyway, the Kettle and the RD350s and the, oh, it's so amazing going through, looking at the old bikes, you know, old bikes that you used to own, and we've gone through quite a few of them. And then the whole point of making this film, sort of, is I was flicking through, and we were at Guzzi, Motor Guzzi, weren't we? And look at this, oh, look at the old BMs. You look at these now, the thin tyres on them. Oh, fairing. Anyway, you know, I've been banging on trying to find a Banvati Go-Go. Now, what I want you to notice is this Banvatus, look. Banvatus. And I don't know why the kids don't use them now. Because I was brought up in the sticks. So it was this or walking or running or pedaling a push bike. Loads of miles, used to go everywhere on my little pedal 50, and they take the mickey, but okay. They used to walk and run. I used to get on my little pedal motor and go. So this is what I wanted to show you, look. Reg Fern, lived in Wales, so I was born and bred, Avon with Pontypridd. And then look, Banvatus. Yeah, so first of all, Banvatus. This is what I had, a pedal 50. As I remember, I used to buy it out of the club. There's the registration of it. And then look, look at the insurance premium. Euro registration, 75. And this is in 1984, between 1984 and 83. A year's premium on a pedal 50 just gets you around. Why aren't the youngsters on the young bikes? That's how I started. Well, let me just find you another thing. Hold on. This is the beginning of my story on bikes. Start them young. I think I'm about 10, 9, 10, 11, something like that, on an original Monkey. Yeah. With my Ben Sherman shirt. There's Debbie. There's Paula. There's Nettie. And there's Stephen. Look, I've had a brand new helmet with my mother. Yeah, I've had a brand new helmet. That's when they were brand new. In the Isle of Man. CX500. You just see the edge of a CX500. That would have been a year or two old with Emlyn. But look at the haircut. What I wanted to show you was, look, boots, socks over the end of the boot. Remember, I was in a show, wasn't I? That's what we used to do. We used to put the socks over the end of our boots. That's dated. You don't see that much at all, do you? I don't know what the belt is, but yeah, I don't remember what year that would have been. But isn't it funny how just opening a book can give you so much of a memory, and the memories come flooding back. It's amazing. And yet, you know, you just buy them and they sit on a stall in a car boot. Absolutely, you wouldn't get this pleasure out of a computer screen, just randomly flicking through, and then just happens to find, hold on, where was it? Yeah, you just happen to land on what you used to have, a Banvatus. Yeah, Banvati Go-Go. Yeah. Rob, these books have instantly given me so much pleasure and so much remembering. Wow, unbelievable. Oh, here's Debbie, look. Here's Debbie. Talk about Debbie's Cortina. Yeah, there's Debbie's Cortina. My name isn't on there yet. Look, 1981. Yeah, wow. Took the picture to work to show them at work, but you know, you think we're an old bunch of old crocs on Gold Wings, but we've all got a huge history. We're around to 3 wheels now, aren't we? But we've all got a huge motorcycling history behind us. Yeah, when you look at those old crocs on 3 wheels in the corner. Married 41 years, and Debbie's still a biker chick. So this is what I don't really understand, is why aren't the youths of today, you know, with the price of fuel, with the price of, you know, the cost of living, why aren't there more young kids, you know, young men using motorcycles to go to work and back, starting on little ones, working their way up to big ones, you know, buying one, crashing them, learning the lesson, buy the next one. It's going to save the world. I mean, they insist on sitting around in the cars that cost them a lot of money to run and maintain. And then you've got the fuel consumption. Motorcycles were always the poor man's transport. It was always the poor man's transport. And you got about. I mean, okay, I was born and bred in the sticks, in the countryside. So it was either cheap transport or it was running and walking and cycling. But I've never really understood why the young generation gave up on motorcycles, because it is fundamentally, all right, we've had this power war. In my day 750 was big, but then it grew and grew and grew and went to 1000cc, and even 1000cc isn't good enough now. And to believe that we've got 6 cylinders and 1800cc, and they make Triumph rockets which are 2.5 litre. That power race has happened, but that's the top of the market. Do you know what I mean? But it was always cheap transport, way of getting from A to B. And, take one friend with you, or, go out in a little group of you. It was social, you knew how to behave, integrated you. I've never understood why motorcycling and how cheap it is to run around steady. You don't have to be, it's not all about plastic fantastics. There's different styles if you want a custom and you want to plod around. I mean, it's a damn sight better than walking or running or pedaling a push bike. It doesn't compute in my head why motorcycling, especially the price of things are now, why are we, it's cheap transport. Why are the youngsters of today, why are we not all running around on bikes? I don't understand it at all. Oh, is that a Jawa? No, an MZ. Yeah. Wasn't the gear lever and the kickstart the same thing on these MZs? Funny look. And pedal, even these. Wow. 100 plus to the gallon. Do anything with them, get you around. It's mad. Isn't it? Absolute mad. But what a fantastic fine job. It was very pleased. Yeah, Nick, great. Being in the car boot without being in the car boot, because definitely I would have picked them up anyway. But yeah, friends with benefits, friends with that know what you like and pick them up out of the car boots. Fantastic, Rob. Thank you very much for picking these books up. So, I like to not only tell you a thing, but I like to show you a thing. So, look at this. It's an A50 Suzuki. Was it an AP50, I think, yeah. 50 cc's, right? It was 115 quid in value. And it was a 16 quid premium. And it was in 1976. Blimey, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? I don't know how. I've always been a collector. I've always been a hoarder. I don't know how these. There's the registration. Look, I don't know. Made in 71. I don't know how these managed to survive. You put them in a box, in the same paperwork box, and you keep them, don't you? Yeah. 1976 is the oldest insurance that I've got that I can show you. Reginald James Fern. Look. I've had so much pleasure digging these things out and reading through the books. And then, add insult to injury, I've been on the road, shall we say, okay, on a 50cc, been to 1976, and you get these idiots, you go for a job, oh, well, we want to assess you, we want to see what your driving's like. What the hell? And you have to do this CPC malarkey with the trucks. I was saying to my friend the other day, it's insulting. What the hell have you got to tell me about on the road? These young pups, these young whippersnappers come along. They've done some fancy courses. They've got themselves some fancy qualifications. What the hell are they going to tell me about being on the road? Wow, man, oh man. Yeah. So that's why I growl and I shout. And, you know, if you've got to assess me, you can put your job where the sun don't shine. I mean, my view has always been, look at my face. Look at my license. Is it a valid license? How many years have I had it? How many categories have I got on it? Look at my face. Right, that's all you need to do. All you have to do is look at my license. Look at the numbers on it, the age, if you can read them at all, and you understand what they say. And look at my face. Do I look like an old croc? Been on the road for years and years and years. So what other questions do you need to ask me when I'm applying for a job?